you're sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
I wouldn't lead with sadness, though I lean into it.
What does that mean?
I am somebody who likes to be sad. If I am sad, I will find ways to just embrace it. Because I know that sadness is like a natural emotion. It's my body telling me something.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
With unrequited love, let's say you had a crush on someone, what would you do? Would you go home, put on the sad music, and did people notice that you were sad because of that?
Well, there's a difference from leaning into sadness and performative sadness. So, and it took years of therapy for me to understand this. So being a queer person, having crushes on other women in high school or in college, unrequited love was something that always felt so familiar.
Yeah.
And
may I ask, were you out in high school?
I was not out in high school,
okay.
But I did have a secret girlfriend. I think I was covering it up pretty well.
Yeah, I don't think your family...
my family knew. My family knew.
Okay, your family.
My family knew, but I was not out to my peers. Even though I was captain of the golf team, and I was in softball and all of those.
You were the captain of the golf team.
Damn right I was.
There's a reason to be sad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm more sad because of my par. I'm terrible now.
Oh, this is timely.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had crushes on girls.
Yeah, and I used to be like a safe person to flirt with. And so in college, it often felt like, friends would flirt with me and like, oh, Lou, if I was, you would absolutely choose you, absolutely choose you, absolutely choose
the friend zone.
The friend zone, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with being in the friend zone. We have to teach people that, like, if you are lucky enough to be somebody's friend, that's a great place to be.
It's true.
So we shouldn't take that for granted, and the end goal shouldn't be always romance.
But isn't it a bit cloying when, yes, I'm blessed to have a lot of friends, as are you, but if you want to be with that person, and they're like, oh, you're like my brother, or you're like my sister.
Well, certainly, does it suck?
Yeah, it sucks.
But we have to stop treating it like a consolation prize.
That's a very good point. Yeah, that's well said.
Yeah. But what I would do in college, is I used to lash out. I would be so angry if somebody who would flirt with me at a party or, they'd want to kiss at this thing. And then 2 weeks later, they're no longer interested because they were undoubtedly straight, as most of the women on Purdue's campus were. I would be so angry. And I used to have what I called angry thumbs.
Angry thumbs? What does that mean?
I would send hurtful, hateful text messages.
Oh.
And that's largely...
To the people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I thought that, well, if you're going to hurt me and you're going to make me feel sad, well, the only way for me to cope with this is to make you feel sad and to hurt you. Not being out in high school meant that my first big breakup was done in secret. And
how old were you?
I was 16.
16, and how long had you been with the person?
Well, I was actually 17 when we broke up. Almost a year. But when my high school girlfriend's mom found out, she transferred her to a different school. And
because she had been dating a woman?
Yeah.
She thought that would solve it?
Yes. But apparently it did, because she too is straight.
Oh, she's straight? Oh.
I have a long line of... Not a long line of straight women, but there are straight women in my past.
Sexuality to me is sadness, man. Right there. No. Thank you. So when you had that breakup, did you initiate it? Did she?
She initiated it, and that's large. I mean, so we were, secret girlfriends. I guess not secret enough because her mom did find out.
Yeah.
When her mom found out, she would follow me to school.
The mom would follow
she would wait in the school parking lot, and I'd pull in, and she would circle my car a couple of times, and she would follow me into the school. It's amazing that I'm okay with the sound of heels clicking, because I could hear them down the hallway. And it wasn't until and my mom very much intervened. So my mom once saw her at the Strachan Van Til, which is our family grocery store. And my mom followed her mom for miles. And because my mom was like, if you ever follow my daughter to school again,
Yeah.
Like, not only will there be like a restraining order, but my mom has a fiery temper, and
Feel when the mom was doing that creepy motherfucking thing where she was following you around, did you feel a guilt? Did you feel like there's something wrong with me? Why are you singling me out? Did I do something wrong?
oh no, I know why she was singling me out. She was singling me out because I was having sex with her daughter, like, and she was pissed.
There you go. Yeah.
It's her taking my high school girlfriend to another school, and then several months later, because it's an unsustainable partner relationship.
Yeah.
We're juniors in high school, and we're separate. Like, of course, it failed.
Did you find yourself
I was
with that? Were you devastated? So did your schooling suffer?
Well, my schooling suffered the first time I kissed a girl. I no longer was.
Did you like it? Taste of her cherry chapstick. Sorry,
Katy Perry.
Yeah.
You want to talk about something that makes me sad?
Yeah.
It's not Katy Perry.
Oh.
But it is that song, and that song is largely because, like, all of the sudden, not that women weren't already ornaments at college parties, but this "I kissed a girl and I liked it," like, that came out when I was in college, and all of a sudden everybody wanted to play it, and like, who did they want to make out with? Like, the closest lesbian, which on a campus that has like 11 of them, I was usually the one. And that's another thing that really messes with you. Like, think of the folks. Have people wanted to make out with you?
No, they haven't.
Okay. How does that make you feel?
Sad.
But the year later in drama class, where all sad things happen.
Sad mask.
Sad mask. Half of it sad.
Thank you. Yes.
We were tasked with writing monologues.
Uh-huh.
And a student in my monologue class wrote his monologue about my situation with Natalie. God, I keep saying her name. I don't think she.
It's Natalie Merchant.
It's Natalie Merchant.
Wow.
Yeah.
That whole Tiger
She's
Lily
so
album
kind and
is about
generous.
you. Yeah. Right.
But he wrote a monologue about a hypothesis that he had, that the reason why my girlfriend had gotten transferred was because we were in a secret relationship, and the reason why I was sad was because she was gone.
How did you react to that?
Was pissed.
Yeah.
And also really sad.
And he had no idea. This was like literally his hypothesis?
Yeah.
And he did this in front of the whole class?
He did this in front of the class. Luckily, it was drama class, which meant there were 9 people.
9 sad people.
My grandmother had passed away. And
in real life?
In real life.
Okay.
And so I had used this monologue. The monologue that I had written about was when my grandmother passed away, my aunt was on vacation. And she was like, well, we're going to finish up vacation before we come back. Can you wait to bury her? And I remember just being shocked by this, because I think about my relationship to my mother. And I'm like, how are you going to have your mom sitting on ice while you're up in Disneyland? And she had been like dating this other girl in college, or not in college, this other girl in high school who was a year older and who was out and who was proud. And she had like tattoos, and she played acoustic guitar, and I hated this girl because she was out.
And she was proud.
And she was proud.
Is that what you wanted to be?
Of course, yeah, I absolutely wanted to be out, but I was too much of a coward to be out. It took me a long time to find my own identity. I spent so much in college being really proud that you didn't know I was gay until you knew I was gay. I never wanted to be a 100-footer. I never wanted...
What's a 100-footer?
Somebody you know is gay 100 feet away, which I am now.
Yeah.
Very...
What?
But like when you met me.
Actually, I didn't know you were gay.
Right, because I was still performing straight. I was like, yeah, nobody knows until they know.
Yeah. Did she sit on the rose?
Yes. So, and I had to be like, I'm sorry, that's for you. And she was so confused. And I said, was wondering if you'd like to go out with me. And she said no. And then I asked her if she would not tell anyone. because not only had I been rejected, but I also wasn't out. And the first person she told was Michelle. And then Michelle told the other girls on the junior softball team, or the varsity softball team. And I got confronted on the softball bus about whether or not I was gay.
How long after?
Oh, that was the next week, like Monday. So I had she wasted, I can only imagine that like she went home and called Michelle. And like, so I'm on the way home from a softball game and I get on the bus and this other girl comes up and is like, I hear you're a dyke. And of course I was like, just devastated. And the way that I played it off was like, well, Michelle, because she's like, well, Michelle heard that from Kate. I was like, well, they smoke pot. So they clearly don't know what they're talking about. It was the best argument I could come up with.
That's pretty good, though.
I hear you're a dyke.
Bully.
She was a bully. Yeah.
Get out of my house if you're not cool with smoking weed.
No.
Totally.
No.
That's listen. We're talking about 16-year-old, not a rule breaker.
Can I? And it compounds the sadness. And then you say, please don't tell anybody. That breaks my heart to hear that. Because I've never had to live with that. I've never had to say, please don't tell anybody I'm straight. Right. That's awful.
Yeah.
And then she just went and told people.
Well, and also...
Did she keep the rose?
Yeah, because I was like, you can take the rose. And what she did for the rest of rehearsal that day, because we had like a long Saturday of rehearsal, is she would take the rose and rub it against her fucking face.
Was she looking at you while doing it?
It was terrible.
Did you cry?
Yes, I cried. I don't believe I drove her home that night.
Well, good.
Yes, so she probably didn't ask. She's probably already figuring out a way to tell Michelle.
So, how did they meet?
They met in a bar on dates with other people.
Say that again.
They met in a bar on dates with other people.
So your mom was on a date with a guy.
Yep.
Your dad was on a date with a woman.
Uh-huh.
How did they find each other?
My dad winked at my mom.
He winked at your mom?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And my mom winked back. And my dad sent the confirmation wink.
What does that mean? Is that the third wink?
It's a third wink.
Yes, I got your wink.
Yep, that's where I got the sweet skills that I had in high school.
Yeah. So he'd been to the gas station, too.
He'd been to the gas station, probably Cologne.
Yeah. They met.
So they met somebody came in, distracted my mom's date, and so my dad did let's go to the back, because they both worked at the same hospital, my mom in the credit union and my dad in the...
but they didn't know each other.
They didn't know each other. But they kind of knew of each other. They'd never met. And they ended up making out in the back of this bar. Well, my dad had his date, and my mom had her date. And this was November 30th, 1979. Smooth. And my dad kept saying to my mom, which I now know what this means, I just want to buy you breakfast. Let me take you out for breakfast.
He just wanted to sleep with her.
Yeah, as it turns out. And my mom said, well, you have somebody here. What are you going to do? My dad was like, I'm going to get rid of her. So he goes up to his date and says, I'm so sorry. I feel really sick. So she's like, I'll take you home. And he said, no, I'll get a ride from somebody else. So then he's standing by, so she leaves and he's standing by the exit. Like, I can imagine like chest out, look what I've done. And my mom's date comes up to him. It's like, you need to leave her alone. And the thing that further complicates it is my mom's date was my dad's boss. And so my dad...
Wait a minute. Your mom was on a date with your dad's boss.
Yeah, my dad was an X-ray tech at the...
So then your dad is trying to steal his boss's date.
Yeah. So he tells
to buy her breakfast.
Yeah. Already made out with her.
After he'd made out with her. He'd already made out with her. I would say in like any long-term partnership, I've been fortunate, and I'll say the word fortunate really specifically, to watch my parents fall in and out of love.
What do you mean by that?
It's given me a realistic view of what partnership is, what long-term partnership is. Okay. And it is hard, and it requires work, and it requires thoughtful work. In high school, I remember a particularly big fight when I was a senior in high school, about to go to college. Mm-hmm. And they were having a really nasty argument. And I think there's a lot of, well, why are we doing this anymore? Why should we even be together?
They're saying
that in different phrases, some not so eloquent or nice. Mm-hmm. And I remember sitting on the stairs and saying, well, if you're going to divorce, just do it already. because I'm going to college and I'd like to get better financial aid. And then my younger sister was like, "How dare you, Lauren?" And I was like, and
so you were trying to be funny.
I was trying to be
deal
funny.
with the pain and the sadness with humor, right?
Yes. One, I'm lucky that I have a partner who, if I'm really sad or really angry, and even if I try to have a good old fashioned fight with her.
Yeah,
And she refuses to give in. She just refuses.
Isn't that fucking maddening?
Well, yeah, because she'll say, "I don't want to fight with you." And you know it's really hard? Having a fight with somebody who doesn't want to have a fight with you. It takes out all of the pleasure of a good old-fashioned fight.
My sister and I talk about this all the time, and I grew up in a very similar type of situation.
Yeah.
My parents are still going strong.
Yeah.
No, they're not. But I mean, they're of course both still alive. But
Yeah.
they got divorced when I was 8.
Yep.
And
It's like they're not going.
no,
What does that mean?
no. But if I'm with a partner in a relationship, I want to fight, and when I get mad, and if they're like, I can't do this, and they have every right to get away from it, and Kelly and I, my sister, who will be on in a few weeks, we are like, why won't you just fucking fight with me?
Yeah,
because that's what I want, and when people say I'm not going to fight with you, it's just even more mad.
Yeah, I think about that oftentimes with my parents around, like, if something serious were to happen to them, how am I going to be able to support them? In the way that my mama lived with my parents at the end of her life. And like that was what you do.
You take care of your family, yeah.
I could be a little more kind to my parents. And I don't know how many Christmases I have left with them. And so that was something I was just overwhelmed watching. The 32 years have elapsed since that. And their life looks really different. And they get to look back at the life they've made, but they know that their time is limited. You know, and then looking at young versions of my mom and dad. And now then there are times I'm like, was it worth it? No, it's okay. Don't touch me again.
I won't. When you called them and apologized, did you tell them that you have this existential dread about losing them?
Of course.
And what was their response?
Oh, you know, I have a fairly morbid family.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Yeah. So my younger sister has taken, because she knows my parents, you know, not that we're burying them already, but she has gone around and written her name under items in the house that she wants to have.
Yeah.
She'll go as far as to write to Amy from Mom and Dad.
Did you talk about this at the ceremony?
Yeah, and turns out it was still a hit.
Of course it was a hit. That's real talk, right?
Well, because when you think about like what the soundtrack of a life is, you know, a lot of tears.
It's a lot of sad. It's a lot of time winning, because time always wins. And I remember when you did go through therapy. I'm still in it. I've been going for 29 years. I'll figure it out one of these days.
Yeah.
But does this sound like anything? I mean, I figure that everybody heard their parents fight. Everybody's going to lose their parents.
Yeah.
Yeah,
these
universal.
are things that make... Yeah, it's exactly.